While the race at the top of the ticket is getting most of the attention in Kentucky, the biggest statewide campaign wasn't between candidates, but an issue. Amendment 2 was overwhelmingly rejected by Kentucky voters, with only 35% of voters in favor of the amendment and 65% against. Senate President Robert Stivers says the message from voters is heard, but the goal to improve Kentucky's education by and large remains the same. Stivers says as the 2025 session approaches, the General Assembly will likely take a closer look at how the state measures accountability and student performance.
We don't want mediocrity. We want the best schools we can have. And so to that, we're going to have to look at this, look at the results, and look at the statutes, look at the constitutions to see how we can create a dynamic for the best educational system we can get.
So now let's focus on the work of fully funding our public schools, providing our educators with real raises, and implementing universal pre-K all across the Commonwealth.
Governor Andy Beshear echoed what other advocates like those in the Kentucky Education Association have said about dedicating more funding to public schools as a response to the outcome of the amendment. Trey, I want to start with you here. This has been an issue that's been litigated for years through the General Assembly. Are we done with this issue?
Are we done with improving education? Certainly not.
Charter schools, school choice.
Well, remember, charter schools, the funding for private charter schools has been struck down. There's still a public charter school bill that is in the courts somewhere but has not been adjudicated. I would suspect that you're going to see more focus put on getting some of those public charter schools up and running. At the end of the day, you look at even very liberal cities like Philadelphia and New York, they have very successful public charter programs there. I think the goal here, the problem I think sometimes the education advocates is they believe that it's some sort of, they always talk about a war on teachers. Everybody has the same goal to improve education in Kentucky. Republicans think that there's some more options and some different ways we could be doing things to do better and do better for our kids. And I think the General Assembly is going to continue to look for those. Just they have to do it now within the framework of the Constitution as written.
To Trey's point, there have been Democrats that seem to support ideas like this in other states. It's certainly not popular here. Why do you think there's that kind of discrepancy?
I think it has most to do with the rural-urban divide. I mean, we have a lot of rural school districts. And even President Obama was a big charter school person. And in New York and Philly, those are such massive metropolitan areas. Like, they're their own state pretty much when it comes to how you think about education and whatnot. So, Amendment 2 was doomed to fail from the beginning. It was very broad. A lot of people got really nervous about what could happen, what could come from that broad language. And so, you had, in the end, you had Republican legislators going back to their rural districts and campaigning against it. And once you saw that, it didn't win a single county. It only cracked 40%, I think, in 9 counties. It got thoroughly rejected by the people of Kentucky.
It ended up being a debate about school vouchers, when that's not what the amendment was about. Changing the Constitution to allow flexibility and to allow creativity both from the General Assembly and the school board level, but it became a debate about vouchers, and at the end of the day, 69 counties in the state have 0 private schools. That makes it very hard to pass when the debate's about just vouchers. And when the no side, their only campaign is don't take money from public schools, and the yes side is talking about vouchers and charter schools and education scholarship accounts. It's just, if you're having to put out a whole paragraph on your position, the other side's using one sentence, the one sentence side's probably going to win. Yeah,
it was a tougher job for the yes side to explain. You mentioned the broadness of what was being proposed. If the General Assembly had been able to come, out in front of this and say, hey, this is the plan that we have, that if we pass this amendment, this is what we're going to do you think that could have changed the outcome in this, or was it doomed from the start?
I'm not one giving that side advice, but I think easy to poke holes in it was, private schools aren't held accountable to testing. They don't have to follow open records acts, a bunch of stuff that scared people. Now, if they had come before and said, hey, we're going to make anybody that takes public money in vouchers, they're going to be held to testing that public schools are. They're going to be held to open records requests. I think that's a different argument in that case. Trey's also talked about having like a 529 plan for K through 12. That's also a different argument. Those are arguments I think people would be willing to entertain, but just this you know, we're going to take public money and give it to private wealthy schools. It's wealthy for the welfare. It's welfare for the wealthy, and that's just such easy to talk about.
Education scholarship accounts have passed the General Assembly, struck down by the court because of this clause in the Constitution. Charter schools have passed the General Assembly, struck down in courts because of this clause in the Constitution.
You can have a public charter school.
Well, yeah, but
right
the private charter
school.
school part had been struck down by this clause. A voucher bill has never been proposed, has never passed. I talked to members of the General Assembly. They didn't think it had the support to pass in the General Assembly. So the no side made it about something that really was not ever a possibility in the legislature. But it became about that, and that became an effective boogeyman for it.
And they got their way.